biggest opportunity for every country is going to be if they're going to be adapting their own AI, and they're going to keep the AI within country, within border, all the data in border. And so that's going to be the opportunity, too, for each country to develop that, and they'll have all their data remain in their country. So obviously that requires huge investments, but that's one of the foundations of real big global growth.
Thank you. Someone, please.
But I agree with you, but you see the extent of the problem, the way I see it is with the AI coming in, the extent of the problem is such that let's take Bangladesh, for example. So we are the second largest producers of and exporters of garments. And we've got all our women are working in the garment industry. So recently we have been seeing robotics coming in, and that's not affecting us. So that's in fact increasing our productivity. And there is also not having job losses because of that, because somebody has to manage the robots also. So how do you, so we see, but when I say robot, basically it is repetitive work done by a machine. But the machine isn't thinking. It's been programmed that all you do is you do this repetitive work. If there's even 1 millimeter off, then the machine stops. It doesn't think of how to fix that. It's not programmed as yet to do that. But with AI, the way AI is producing, when he starts thinking and that machine starts thinking,
it's visual.
Then he is going to say that, well, one of my biggest customers is Walmart. So they'll say that, well, let's set up these machines in the parking lot of Walmart and start producing over there. And the supply, there is a lead time becomes so smaller. And then my entire industry gets wiped out. So that's the kind of issues which we will be facing in the future. So, I'm not being a pessimistic, but I want to be a realist. I think, we all say that, yes, you give the education, you do that, you keep the data within yourselves, all of that. But that's not going to actually, the divide is already so wide that those are things which will help. But I don't think that's the solution. We need to really, I think globally we need to really, if we want to narrow this divide down, then we really have to think of education, rule of law, all of that is okay. That's going to happen. But I think the way the technology is now going is, let's talk about quantum computing. When quantum computers come in, no, it's only China and America who are going to have that technology. That gives them another tremendous edge over the rest of the world. So we have to actually think of how do we protect the rest of the world. And unless we go in that line of thought, we are still talking traditional, rule of law, education, empowerment of women. But the way technology is moving forward, I don't see that those things are required. I'm not saying those are not required. That's the fundamental, that's the basis. But we have to find something beyond that on how we can.
How are you?
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And make sure you're following the TikTok. And guys, every now and then you get a realist. And I meant to play this video a while ago while I was playing the clip of Larry Fink. But like he stated, everyone's talking about re-educating and getting the kids ready for the fourth industrial revolution. But if the robots, algorithms, and drones are thinking on their own, they're going to take over the industries. And Larry Fink knows that. Remember, guys, the end game, they want the robots, algorithms, and drones to take over the economy and the sheep to go inside the metaverse. Because like he stated, supercomputers, only China and the U.S. and maybe a couple other countries are going to have them. And if you're taking all this data, giving it to a supercomputer, have an application that's attached to this robot, is nothing that this robot is not going to be able to do. It's nothing but a big brain, and they're pulling all the information that we've ever been taught in 2 seconds. So it doesn't matter the industry you're in, the machines are coming for your job. But remember, the Most High gives you work, the devil gives you a job. That's the reason why you have to get in the lab, get yourselves prepared. Think outside the box. The Most High gave you your mind, which is the greatest thing ever. They still can't figure it out. So when it comes to these jobs, yes, the machines can do them, but you can create your own reality and make money from it. We've seen it done tons of times. But this clip was great because it brings you back into reality. Like Jordy Rose stated, it's a locomotive coming. It's just whether you're prepared. Remember, guys, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. And we know the Most High is going to reject the children. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
I think the Great Divide is going to get worse.
The Great Divide?
The wealthy and the poorer countries. I think
within and between countries.
Within between countries, I think the divide is going to occur through the middle class developing countries that have a foundation of education will be able to accelerate faster than just having population growth in them. Juxtaposing now Africa, where there's population growth and there's still inadequacy in terms of real foundation of education. And I think the divide is going to be greater and greater in education. If you forecast out the transformation that we're going to see across all societies because of AI, robotics, sensor technology, the speed in which this change is going to occur, I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. Okay, that's something that most people never talked about. You know, we always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking unemployment, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations. And so for those countries that have rising populations, the answer will be education, and so rapidly develop. You know, for those countries that do not have a foundation of rule of law or education, they're going to be left. That's where the divide's going to get more and more extreme. And unfortunately,
I think we differ, Larry,
okay.
Because what I said is population growth with the right education.
Yes, I agree with that.
And so, I mean, they are synonymous. You can't have
generally
population growth without the education. Actually, my worry is about developed countries where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And actually, in my opinion, the backbone of any society is the middle class. And if the middle class is shrinking, then we see more polarization within the society. That is my worry more for the developed world. In the developing countries who are paying attention to that, paying attention to education, giving the opportunities for the youth, and taking into consideration an all-inclusive growth, I think for the coming few decades, if the rule of law stays, if the right governance stays, I see a great potential for them.
Thank you.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.